They were, in the words of President Trump, candid and constructive conversations. But the talks between Chinese and American trade negotiators in Washington ended today before lunchtime, with no sign of any breakthrough. The only development, a more ominous one, the US more than doubling its tariffs on a wide range of Chinese imports, in protest at what Mr. Trump insists is Beijing's decision to prise open parts of the trade deal that were already nailed down. As a result of this uncertainty, Wall Street saw its worst week of the year. And across the world, fears are rising of a deepening trade war between the world's two biggest economies, causing collateral damage. The Trump administration, though, is sounding calm. Speaking in Luxembourg today, the US Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said that while Washington was still hoping to reach a deal with Beijing, it had no reservations about imposing billions of dollars of extra charges.
The United States is comfortable with the outcome, whichever way it goes, but we would be happy if we could have an agreement with China. Remains to be seen if that can be done.
So how is all of this being reflected in China? Kerry Allen is the China media analyst for BBC Monitoring.
The idea that's coming out of a lot of official newspapers is that the US is being antagonistic. It's not playing ball. So this is what I've been seeing a lot of. But at the same time, one of the messages that's coming out more and more on social media is the idea that China is strong in its domestic products. I mean, the fact these trade talks have been going on, and today is a festival that was introduced since 2017 by the State Council called National Products Day. So while there's all these talks going on about Chinese products, the difficulty of them going overseas to the US, China is emphasising to its social media users that they should be buying national products, that national products are a pride, and they don't necessarily need to buy an Apple iPhone anymore. They should be proud that they can buy Huawei phones and other products that are domestic. And this has backing by big celebrities in China, very influential figures. So today, this is what a lot of people have been seeing.
So we don't need you. Is that the message?
That is very much the message, yes. Millions of retweets. I'm seeing a lot of comments like this, comments that simply replicated again and again saying, China is strong, I am proud of my country.
Of course, President Trump has said the reason he slapped on the tariffs is because China reneged on what he thought was already agreed on. Is there any sense in either the, well, not in the official media, but on social media in China, that President Xi or the administration is responsible for what's happened?
Absolutely not whatsoever, no. You have to think with China, the majority of the media is state-owned, and papers like People's Daily, they're written with approval by the government. So the message will have come directly from Xi Jinping that people shouldn't be focusing so much on these trade talks. They should be looking at the pride of China and the fact that Chinese products are strong. Whatever happens, they're saying China will survive. It doesn't matter.
But what about even the more subversive corners of Chinese social media that have poked fun at President Xi before? They are going along with that narrative, are they?
Well, one of the things that's very different about Weibo, Sina Weibo, which is what people in China use instead of Facebook or Twitter, is that whereas here we expect that a lot of politicians and officials have a social media presence, they put out official statements. If you're a Chinese official, you don't have a social media presence whatsoever. If you're very senior, comments about that person are instantly removed because the Chinese government doesn't want people to be expressing negative views about the leadership. The idea that the leadership is key to the country's survival is reiterated so much. People do come up with nicknames for Xi Jinping, like Winnie the Pooh, for example, or Daddy Xi, Xi Dada. But increasingly, the government authorities become aware of this and they make sure that any such comments about Xi Jinping or the Communist Party leadership are outright censored.
And there are huge armies of people policing it, aren't there?
There are, yes. There are literally millions of people who do this as a job.
So even if there is out there in Chinese society criticism of the Chinese government for these tariffs, we wouldn't necessarily know about it.
No.
Kerry Allen from BBC Monitoring.